Hello everybody, we are back after a nice break to break down the fight between Alex Morono and Kalinn Williams. So shout out to everyone that is watching live on Twitch and Mixer. Unfortunately, I can't live stream these breakdown videos on YouTube anymore just because the YouTube algorithm, like the machine learning they use to detect, copyrighted material, it's just way too intense on YouTube. It's absolutely crazy. So the last live stream that I did on YouTube where I broke down a fight like this, the stream got cut like halfway through because they said I was using copyrighted material. Now, what's absolutely crazy is that you can live stream, live research videos like this on Twitch and Mixer without a problem. And then if you take that video and upload it to YouTube, YouTube don't have a problem with it. But if you actually live stream that content, they shut you down. And the danger with YouTube is if you get shut down on 3 separate live streams, they'll actually ban you from live streaming for like 3 months. That's what happened to me in the past. I kind of thought I'd worked out, how their algorithm worked and how to avoid getting shut down, but on the last video we did, can't remember which one it was like sometime last week, the same thing happened. So I'm just not taking any more chances, and I'm just going to keep these live research sessions to Twitch and Mixer. So if you want to watch these live, participate in them, answer, ask me any questions, anything like that, just basically go and follow me on Twitch and Mixer. I'll leave a link in the description below. But I will be doing the prop videos, all that kind of stuff. The live stream's still on YouTube because obviously we don't lose any fight footage in them, and to keep them alive I now need to move these research videos over. So that is the situation. So in this live stream we are going to be taking a deep dive into one of the new matchups that's been announced for UFC 247. It's Alex Morono against Khaos Williams, or Khaos Williams I think he likes to call himself. There's a good amount of footage on this guy, so we should be able to get a really strong read on it. Now, Alex Morono's odds have been declining ever since they were first released. He dropped, he came out at about, wow, is that 1.71? If I can, my mouse is really sensitive. Yeah, so he opened at 1.76, and his odds have been steadily declining ever since. So what I will say about, this fight and all the fights taking place this weekend, this pay-per-view right here is probably the worst pay-per-view I've ever seen. It's very, very bad. Like, to have 2 guys like Juan Adams and Justin Taffer, just before the co-main event of a pay-per-view featuring 2 title fights, it's kind of crazy. Do you know what I mean? Taffer and Adams both coming into this fight on losses. I think Adams on a 2-fight loser streak. Taffer's lost his last fight. Both guys roughly inexperienced. This, on paper, this card is a very bad one. And in terms of betting, this card is also terrible. Usually when I start to, research an event, 4 or 5 names will jump out at me as potential bets. But on this card, not a single name has jumped out at me. And I've researched about half this card already and haven't even come close to placing a bet, really. So it's a tricky one, man. I haven't been doing very well over the last few months. And it's one of those classic things where after you've had like a long break, you want to jump back on that horse, you want to lock some bets in, you want to get back in profit, you want to start to do really good again. And that's a really dangerous mindset to be in on a card like this, because for me, I'm not seeing any strong opportunities at the moment. Like, mentally, I'm completely willing to pass on this card if I don't find any bets. So if you're also struggling, I've had a few people DM me, email me over the last few weeks saying, really hope you put some YouTube content out for this event because I'm struggling. Boys, I just want to let you know I'm struggling as well. And I'm in the mindset where if I can't find any strong positions on this event, I'm more than happy to pass, because obviously the downside is this weekend is a very, very bad card on paper, and it looks like it could be bad on betting. It looks like it could be bad for live betting as well. I mean, live betting is the area I make most of my money, so that's really disappointing. But the good news is, every cloud's got a silver lining. Remember, spring always follows winter. After this weekend, we've got back-to-back-to-back UFCs every weekend until like the beginning of April. So I guess what I'm saying is just be patient, man. There's going to be plenty of more strong opportunities coming up. And just don't force bets, man, and risk taking a loss on this event. I think we've got something like 3 Bellators in February as well, and then 2 Bellators in March. So plenty of opportunities coming up, man. There's no need to, there's no need to force bets on a shitty card like this, but I will keep digging. And I also want to let you guys know that I am going to be pumping out loads of content on YouTube this week because we've got no Bellators. So if you are watching this video after the fact on YouTube, please hit the like button below if you want me to keep smashing out content. And if this video gets 150 likes, I'm going to drop a breakdown video tomorrow, probably around 9 PM UK time, where I break down the main event between John Jones and Dominic Reyes, and about half the fights on this card that I've already done. Fights like Dan Ige, Mirsad Bektik, Andre Ewell, Jonathan Martinez, fights like that. But I haven't found any bet yet, boys. I'm struggling on this one. But hopefully we can find a bet on this fight. Alex Morono against Kalinn Williams. And that is the fight that I want to jump into in this list live stream. So Master by Jazz is saying, couldn't find any footage on Kaylin. Don't worry, Master by Jazz, because I've got a shitload of footage on Kaylin that we could watch together and see what he brings to the table. So the first thing that I want to do before we get into this this kind of like studying the fight footage, Tuku Pack Smoke is saying this fight needs no research. What are you talking about, dude? Every fight needs research. What are you talking about? How are you supposed to make money live betting if you don't know anything about the fighters? Hey, good to see you, Kamikaze. How you doing, mate? And Dr. Remalak is saying, did you hear there are 8 UFC events for the next 8 weeks? Yeah, man, that's why I don't even care that this event is bad for betting, because we got plenty of opportunities coming up, man. Plenty coming in the near future. So yeah, shout out if you're watching live on Twitch and Mixer. Yeah, thank you for watching, boys. Drop any comments, questions you've got in the live chat. But for now, let's focus on these X factors. So Alex Morono. Oh, sorry, just got to let you know, as part of this fight research, I have watched Alex Morono's last 4 fights to see what he brings to the table. So I'll be talking to you a little bit about what Morono does well, what he doesn't do so well, before we get into watching the footage on Kaylin in a little while. But now let's focus on the X factors. Let's give Alex Morono a follow as well. Can't believe I don't follow this guy. So, Alex Morono trains at his own gym. He's the owner of his own gym, a small independent gym with like no notable names to train there. Although here we do see Domingo Pilate and also Trevin Giles, who are competing this weekend at UFC 247 also. Is there anyone else in this series of pictures? No, there aren't. So yeah, he trains at his own small independent gym, but he does also do a little bit of training at Fortis MMA. As we can see here, there he is with the Fortis branding behind him. And if we scroll back up, here's some Fortis MMA guys with him, right? We've got Uriah Hall by here, and we've got Jeff Neal as well. So yeah, splits his training between those two camps. Khaos Williams is a bit of an interesting one, man. Obviously, I don't know. Well, that's interesting. Khaos Williams making his UFC debut has more followers than Alex Morono. That is absolutely nutty. But anyway, I'm not too sure what to make of this guy. There's definitely something interesting going on with him. I have never watched any of his fights in the past. But yeah, something's up with this dude, man. There's a few interesting things about him. So the first interesting thing is that he's a pro boxer. He's got a 2-0 record. Now, that might spell bad news for him here, because if he is primarily a boxer, like I said, I don't know anything about him yet. We're going to be researching him together. But if he is a pro boxer, that isn't the best thing that we want to be reading, because Alex Morono's biggest weakness is his takedown defense. Alex Morono is a decent grappler, but very, very, very easy to take down and quite easy to hold down as well. He's quite weak off his back. One of the reasons why he's so easy to take down is because he's got a nasty guillotine. But the problem is he has fallen in love with his guillotine. And now if you try and take him down, he just instantly goes to it instead of trying to actually defend a takedown. And this can be backed up by the stats. If we look at Alex Morono's takedown defense stats, he's only defended 31% of all takedown attempts in his UFC fights, which is pretty bad, because if you take a look at his record, hasn't really fought any strong wrestlers, hasn't fought any like super strong wrestlers, and he's been in the UFC for a very long time, man. Max Griffin, isn't a very strong wrestler. Max Griffin's predominantly a boxer. In actual fact, one of Griffin's biggest weaknesses is his takedown defense and ground game, and yet in his last fight, Max Griffin was able to take Alex Morono down pretty much any time he wanted. So if we're looking to bet, a nice juicy underdog in this fight, you don't want to be seeing Khaos Williams as a pro boxer. You would have liked him to have some grappling, but then he does have a submission win on his record. Who the hell knows what we're going to find when we start watching him? But this guy is an interesting one, because I'm not even sure what's going on with him, to be honest. He's only really competed in quite a low level of promotion against a really low level of opponent. Here we can see that his record is super padded. He's fought a bunch of guys with losing records, and more worryingly, around 2 years ago now. I mean, it even feels crazy saying that this fight took place 2 years ago, because 2018 doesn't seem that long ago. But he did lose to a guy in Dan Yates that made his pro debut. So we've actually got that fight. We can watch it. We can see what happened, because obviously the win-loss record doesn't always tell the whole story. But yeah, man, it's a bit of a concern. So let's just catch up on the comments. So Solar Cowboy, good to see you, mate. Kamikaze, good to see you. MMA KM, good to see you. Kamikaze asking if Moreno's a black belt. Yes, mate, he is a black belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. I think that's one of his problems. He always favours submissions over position, which means he's very easy to take down, very easy to hold down. He's always chasing these long shot submissions, as opposed to just trying to keep the fight standing or actually stay on top position in a dominant position. So yeah, he is a black belt in BJJ, but it kind of works against him, and this takedown defense stat does show that. So yes, finish off Khaos Williams. So I'm not too sure what's going on with him, because he seems well funded, man, which most young inexperienced fighters aren't. So he's got a 9-1 record, very inexperienced. He's only 25 years old. He's fought a bunch of low-level guys, but he's an interesting character. I'm not sure if he's affiliated with a money team. All you guys on YouTube are very, very useful. Like, you guys help me out loads watching on YouTube. You drop major knowledge in the comments. So if you know a little bit about this guy's background and why he appears to be so well funded, please let me know in the YouTube comments, man. If anyone's watching on Twitch and Mixer, please let me know. Because as we can see here, this guy is wearing a Moncler jacket. This is like probably a $1,500 jacket. Gucci t-shirts, probably $300-400. He's got the money team hat. He's got the Gucci belt, probably $300. I don't know what watch this is. These maybe look like maybe Philip Plein trainers. They don't come cheap. And this is obviously a Gucci bag, probably like, I don't know, maybe like $1,500 to $2,000, something like that. So very unusual. You see fighters with only 10 pro fights, only competing in small promotions, being able to rock gear like this. And it gets even deeper with Kaylin Williams, because he's actually got a huge entourage with him. I mean, here you can see his entourage dressed quite sharp as well. This guy's in a Burberry shirt. We got a Moncler hat. This is like a Gucci sweater. He's wearing a Gucci t-shirt, probably some more Philip Plein trainers. This guy's well funded, and you'll see that in a moment when we start watching footage of him compete. He has absolutely a massive entourage with him, which is, it's actually really strange when you look at the guy's record and who he's fought, why he carries this entourage with him. Where's this funding coming from? Please let me know, boys, if you can shine any light on this guy's background. Leave a comment on YouTube. I'd really appreciate it. And remember, if this video does get 150 likes on YouTube, I will be dropping a breakdown video tomorrow covering half this card, even though, spoiler alert, I haven't found any bets yet, which is a big slap in the face for me. But what can you do, man? You can't force them bets. So in terms of where this guy trains, it looks like he just trains at like small independent gyms, nothing major. Doesn't have the highest quality of training partner or anything like that. This guy's a bit of a confusing one. So before we get into watching footage of him, let's just wrap up what Alex Morono brings to the table. So I've already said, very, very bad takedown defense. Only defended 31% of takedowns in the UFC. This guy is really, really easy to take down, guys, and quite weak off his back as well. Like Kamikaze82 has said in the Twitch live chat, this guy is a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt, but it does work against him. He just always favours submission over position, and if this guy ever faced a strong wrestler, he's going to be in big trouble. And one of the reasons why he's done so well in the UFC, I wouldn't say done well, but one of the reasons why he has been able to rack up wins is because, like I say, he hasn't actually fought that many strong grapplers. But he is very dangerous on the ground. Nasty guillotines, tricky submissions, tricky reversals, tricky sweeps, all that kind of stuff. So if this fight does go to the ground and Kaylin Williams doesn't watch his ass, he could be in a lot of trouble. In terms of striking, obviously I don't know anything about Kaylin Williams, but if he's a pro boxer, this could be some trouble for Morono, because Morono is quite easy to hit. Quite sloppy with his strikes. He throws a lot of wide looping hooks. Not the most technical striker, but one of the ways that he could potentially give Kaylin Williams problems is that Morono does fight at a very high pace. This guy's relentless. He's got great cardio. No matter what you do in 15 minutes, whether you take him down and hold him down, whether you beat him up in a clinch, whether you force him to strike, this guy just doesn't get tired. His cardio is really, really good. And that's obviously a potential problem for Kaylin Williams, because he's stepping up to take this fight on just over 1 week's notice. Obviously, Morono was originally scheduled to fight Diego Lima, so this could be one of those things where, if Williams does show up in amazing shape, which he might not, because like I say, he's taking the fight on short notice, Morono could just outwork him, because this guy is a cardio machine. Very, very impressive cardio. In terms of size difference, a little bit difficult to call. I mean, Morono's 5'11" with a 72-inch reach. It's showing Kaylin Williams' his reach is NA, and it says his height is 6 foot tall, but I'd take this with a pinch of salt. I mean, the stats even for UFC fighters on the tail of the tape are quite often wrong on Tapology, Sherdog, sites like that. So I wouldn't rely on this. I wouldn't rely on him being 6 foot tall, and his reach could be anything. So we won't know what kind of size difference we're dealing with until both these guys face up with one another. And I think that's pretty much it with Morono, man. Like I say, nasty submissions, tricky on the ground. Not the most technical striker, but can fight at a high pace, got decent cardio. And he's tough as fuck as well. He's very, very tough. If we look at his if we look at his record here, I think Nico Price might have knocked him out. I think then the fight was overturned through something dodgy, like a like a USADA issue with Price or something like that. But aside from this, which I can't even really remember too much of what happened, but aside from this, he's never been finished. He's fought some tough guys, man. Josh Berkman hits like a truck. Jordan Mean on his day, very dangerous. Griffin's no picnic. So how much damage he inflicted on Thiago Alves. Do you know what I mean? Morono's no joke, man. So he's very, very tough as well. So, an MMA KM. See, this is why I love doing these live streams. This is why it's so annoying that I can't do these live research videos on YouTube. Because on YouTube, so many people watch. Honestly, when I do one of these live research videos on YouTube, like 300 people watch the live stream on average. So it sucks that I can't do them for fear of being shut down by YouTube, when I can just upload the video later, because you guys help me out by dropping major knowledge in these live streams. Like MMA KM has just let us know that Price KO'd him and then tested positive for marijuana. So obviously USADA, or the Athletic Commission, overturned the result of the fight. Andy Man 666 has said, would Moreno take such a dangerous opponent on short notice? Yes, mate. Fighters always think they're the best in the world, man. Most fighters are fearless, mate. Most fighters will take whatever fight they can get. They think they could beat anyone. So yes, definitely. I mean, we hear fighters say crazy shit all the time, right? Conor thinks he could beat Kamaru Usman. So, yeah, fighters will take the fights, man. I don't think Morono's probably even thinking about that. So, let's get into watching some footage. So the first fight that we are going to watch is going to be Kaylin Williams against Tony Hervey. Okay, Tony Hervey. I couldn't find these last 3 fights available online. I'm not too bothered about these ones, but again, boys, if you're watching on YouTube and you know where I can find this fight against Jeremy Holloway, please leave a comment below on YouTube, man. I would really like to watch his last fight. But we will go back now to just under 1 year ago and watch Kaylin Williams against Tony Hervey and see what he brings to the table. So remember, just a bit earlier on, you're probably thinking, many of you probably have clicked off. Many of you are probably not even watching this anymore. You're like, why the fuck is this guy talking about designer clothes? I came here for gambling and cage fighting. I don't fucking care what coat, what jacket this guy's wearing. Well, there was a reason why I talked about the kind of shit that Kaylin Williams was wearing. Because, like I say, the whole thing with this dude is just very weird, man. Like, he's very well dressed, which means he's got a lot of money behind him. And this entourage is a strange thing. Like, he has this entourage with him for every fight, which is really strange for such an inexperienced fighter competing on these local shows. It just doesn't make any sense to me. I mean, look at how many people we have got here, guys. Like, usually, when I pull up the fight footage that we're going to watch together, I like skim through very quickly to the start of the fight, but realistically, like, what the fuck is going on with all these dudes, man? With this guy, he's carrying the belt. They got belt carriers. He's got hype men. What is this dude? What are they doing? What are they doing? I mean, it's so cringe. It's almost like they're acting. Like, it's almost like they're paid actors. It's almost like this is a parody in a scene in a movie. I just don't understand it, man. It's very, very weird. And it happens in, more than one fight. And here's Dequan Townsend as well. This is Dequan Townsend, right? He fought last weekend against Bevon Lewis. I will also say that this promotion that Kaylin Williams is fighting in is the same promotion that Dequan Townsend and all those guys have kind of fought in. But this is all just very weird, like how many guys he's got with him. I wanted to play this for you because it's all strange. Like, I don't know what's going on. Like, this guy's record is super padded. He's fought like guys with losing records. He's fought in a low-level promotion. He's lost against a guy, that was making his pro debut. He's well dressed. He's got a bunch of dudes with him. He's wearing a money team hat. I don't understand what's going on. If you know more about this guy's background, guys, you're watching this on YouTube, please drop some major knowledge for me in the YouTube comments. I read every single one of your comments, boys. Every single one. I don't always have time to respond. I love to respond to as many as I can. I love to block the haters as well when they take time out of their day to like, think up something nasty to hurt my feelings. I love banning those fuckers just because they've wasted their time. And yeah, leave some comments, boys. Get on it on YouTube. Let me know what's up with this dude, because there's something strange going on with him. So before this starts, let me just take a little bit of a sip of water so that we can get into breaking this guy down. And hopefully we can find some reasons to either bet Morono or bet Williams, depending on what we see. Alright. Enough of the fun and games. So Spizma96 is saying that he thinks Kaylin Williams was charged with coke possession or dealing or something like that back in the day. So that might be where his money and entourage comes from. Interesting. So Spizma96 is saying that maybe this guy is a drug dealer. Who knows? And what I am also going to do for you boys on YouTube, pretty soon we're going to be, I've got some new screens, some new graphics being designed, which is the reason why I haven't updated these ones in a long time. They're still being designed, and pretty soon I'll have the chat also embedded over the video, so you can see what people on Twitch and Mixer are saying in the live chats over there. So shout out to everyone watching on Twitch and Mixer. Like I say, if you're watching after the fact on YouTube and you want to get involved in these live streams in the future, check out in the link in the description below, where I will be linking to my Mixer and also Twitch. So here we go. Khaos Williams, Antonio Hervey. And wow, interesting. Williams in on a body lock takedown straight away, which isn't what you'd expect from a pro boxer. Definitely not what I expected, but he actually does. He's in a very strong position to complete that body lock. I'm quite surprised Hervey was able to keep the fight standing there, showing off good balance. But Williams looks quite powerful and athletic, man. He just literally powers into that. There was no technique there. Williams has just basically picked Hervey up and dumped him on the ground. Now, he actually fell into a mount position, and Hervey was able to just stand back up, which is very, very strange to see a fighter be able to pop back up as easy as that when mounted. Not quite sure what happened there. You'd expect Williams to be a bit heavier, have stronger hips than that, but interesting, but very interesting as well to see a pro boxer come out with, two real strong takedown attempts that he committed hard to there. That is obviously significant because that is Alex Morono's Achilles heel. Very, very weak takedown defense, but here we see Hervey moving to take the back. And the only thing that prevented him from doing that there was Williams went to the overhook, which I'm not going to rewind and show you because nobody is really going to care that much. But now they are back in the center of the cage, and we get an opportunity to see a little bit of Williams' striking here. Now, gotta be honest, I was going to say that in order to bet on a fighter in Morono's odds range, they need to tick every box. Odds are around 1.38, carrying implied probability of about 71%. But I'm not seeing anything too scary from Khaos Williams at the moment, if I'm honest with you. Definitely not what I expected from a pro boxer to be, really looking a little bit sloppy with his striking. Remember, he got lit up in that opening exchange, which is what made him try and tie Hervey up and get this fight to the ground. I'm also seeing him as maybe slowing down a little bit. There's a little bit of laboured movement before he went to this clinch position. So coming into this fight, I was like, there's no way I'm betting Morono at these odds. And now I'm like, maybe I am. I'm not seeing a whole lot from Kaylin Williams here. But obviously we're only 3 minutes in. It's just confusing to me how a big, strong, athletic guy like this wasn't able to hold Hervey down when landing in the mount, and also why he keeps going to these body lock takedowns if he's got a striking background, and also why he's not able to hold a guy like Hervey down. And here he's standing very flat-footed. Very flat-footed. Interesting. I'm open-minded now to this fight for sure. I am definitely open-minded, boys. This could turn out to be an interesting one for betting, you know. We'll see. A little bit early days. We will see. And we have got Cyfix. Good to see you, dude. Oh, mate. It sucks that you're at work, mate. But hopefully we can make it pass a little bit faster. Hopefully you finish work soon as well, mate. Fingers crossed. Oh, good to see you, Jason. Good to see you, man. Oh, JB826. Yes, Jason is one of my VIP members, man, who's always in my live streams on the website, dude. So good to see you here as well, mate. And we've got the action back, so I'll get back to the live stream chat in a minute. But yeah, I'm not clicking with Khaos Williams right now, boys. I don't like the idea of betting big favourites. Big favourites have let me down this year. I've lost money on RDA. I've lost money on Nasrat Haqparast. God, it seems so long ago with all these breaks. I'm not a fan of betting big favourites. At times it's super necessary. Morono's not usually the guy I would bet as a big favourite, but Khaos Williams doesn't look that good, you know. And he's taking the fight on a week's notice. When I saw that this guy was a pro boxer, what I was kind of visualising was a dude that was probably an amazing boxer, but very bad takedown offense, very bad ground game. But that might not have mattered against Morono, because Morono never tries to take fights to the ground anyway. And what we've actually got is quite a sloppy striker, very flat-footed, that keeps looking for these body lock takedowns. I mean, what the fuck is that? You know what I'm saying? So it's an interesting one, man. It is a very interesting one. And of course, the lower down the weight classes you go, this is a welterweight fight, the lower down the weight classes you go, the less chance there is of a flash knockout. Yeah, Khaos Williams not looking too hot right now. Definitely not looking too hot. And Kamikaze is saying he's really strong, but he's just very easy to hit. Yeah, I agree, man. And the thing is, Morono's fast. You know, he's got a decent jab, hits quite hard, Oh, Kamikaze82. There I am talking to Kamikaze. Kamikaze's one of my VIPs as well. It's all my members in the live streams, man. He's Jesse. Good to see you, dude. Jesse is also in loads of my live streams. Jesse was with us on that marathon 8-hour live stream that I did for what event was it? The last one, where we were literally this close to betting Lucy Pudilova and decided to pass, and thank fuck we did, because she didn't show up at all. So we definitely dodged a bullet on that one. I feel bad for anyone that bet Pudilova, because Jesus Christ, it was almost like they sent her super passive, super friendly, super timid twin sister to fight Justine Kish instead. It was outrageous. If the Pudilova the foot Aldana would have showed up, she would have fucking murdered Justine Kish. But that is why MMA betting, well, at least MMA betting pre-fight betting on MMA is a goddamn minefield, because you never know what version of a fight you're going to get show up. And here we're seeing exactly what Kamikaze was saying. No head movement, and Kaylin Williams looking really easy to hit, actually really easy to hit. And what's even stranger is that you would expect a pro boxer to have very nice counters, but it's kind of like he's throwing like punches from the hip, right? Like weird, from a weird angle, a weird position. This doesn't make too much sense to me. Let's take a cheeky little look at the odds on let's just pause this. Let's take a cheeky little look at the odds on Morono. Have I been sleeping on this guy? I saw the odds on Morono and I was like, Morono's not the kind of dude I'm going to be betting at these odds. But I didn't expect Kaylin Williams to be this bad. So, currently around about a 1.38 favourite. I mean, the odds got steamed to that very quickly. It's not like we missed out on anything. By the time liquidity picked up, he was at these odds. But if we look at these odds, so 1.38... is minus 263 for an implied probability of 72%. So to get any value here, you'd have to cap him at about 75%. You might be able to do that. You might even be able to cap him at better than 75%. You might even be able to get to 80%, based on what I'm seeing right now. But we're going to watch the 3 fights, boys. We might have a cheeky little bet on our hands. Like I say, I don't love betting guys at these odds, but... yeah, this guy don't look good at all. This guy don't look good. Also, any comments on my VIP chat? What have we got? Just people talking about fights that we're not interested in right now. So let's get back to this. It's puzzling to me why a pro boxer would be constantly looking for the takedown. Because the thing is, even though I do believe Khaos Williams can take Morono down, just like I say, Morono's takedown offense is non-existent. What I would say is that, judging by this guy's striking, assuming he does have a striking background, being a pro boxer, and it's by assuming, by the way, he's getting his head stuck in this guillotine, I would assume his ground game's not very good. So even if he does get taken, even if he does get the takedown on Morono, like I say, Morono's so goddamn tricky on the ground with his guillotines and sweeps and reversals and submission attempts that he could probably cause Kaylin Williams a bit of a problem, you know. I mean, look, this dude Hervey is literally just giving his back up. The overhook is the only thing stopping from Hervey from taking his back. So Williams taking some risks on the ground for sure. Wow, I thought this fight would be a total fucking non-event for betting, but I am actually liking Morono a little bit here now. And what I would also say is, Williams doesn't have an efficient style of fighting. He's not doing anything with the correct technique. This is all just grit and determination, man. He's just trying to hustle his way to a win, and there's nothing wrong with that, man. He's a young fighter, 25 years old. He's inexperienced. He's going to learn. But the problem is, when you get into a promotion like the UFC, look at his hand speed now. His punches are much slower. When you get into a promotion like the UFC, the problem you've got is you can't really get away with doing everything with power and explosion. It's not going to work, man. You need the technique to back it up, because all that's going to happen is you're going to exert tons of energy get tired, and then you're going to get yourself into trouble later on down the line. It's like what we said about Alex Morono, right? You can fight at a high pace for 3 rounds, no problem at all. And it's just interesting to me that Kaylin Williams is a grappler, which ironically is the style that I said would give Morono problems, because Morono's got very bad takedown defense. But for me, Kaylin Williams doesn't look that skilled, you know. And he's young, man. He's 25 years old. It's not a surprise. Interesting. Very, very interesting. Seb Gray's getting super risky. He's calling a Derek Lewis, Alex Morono parlay. See, now that's where I think it gets crazy. Because obviously Derek Lewis, I haven't researched the Derek Lewis fight yet, but he's about the same odds as Alex Morono. He's got an implied probability of about 72%. Like, it's dangerous capping heavyweights in that odds range, because no matter what you think about Ilir Latifi, he still hits hard. It only takes one shot, right? And at heavyweight, you can't make a mistake at heavyweight. Do you know what I mean? Derek Lewis makes one mistake, Latifi sees one opening, it's over, man. So to cap Lewis in that odds range, I haven't researched the fight yet. Maybe I'll feel different after researching it, but that one feels a little bit crazy to me. Oh, that is a very, very good point from MMA KM. This, I completely forgot about this. This is also Alex Morono's hometown. So Alex Morono, I'm not actually sure if this is hometown, because this event takes place in Houston. I do know Alex is from Houston, and what I do know is home advantage is absolutely huge in Houston. Very, very big. Historically, Texan judges are disgustingly biased towards Texan fighters, and we do know Kaylin Williams is coming from Detroit, Michigan. Actually, what weight class is this? So this is welterweight, right? But welterweight, I'm sure I've seen this guy fight at lighter than welterweight. Welterweight, yeah, see, 165-pound catch weight. I'm not sure what's going on here. Why would he do a 165-pound catch weight? That doesn't make any sense. He fought at like lightweight before. He's fought at welterweight his whole career. Interesting. I don't know why they would do that. Anyway, into this third round, so we've got two. Why is there another 15 minutes on this if this is the third round? Anyway, okay, so crazy spinning attack there from Hervey, and we see Khaos Williams level change, jump right on that double leg, and see if Hervey's able to just stand back up here. Wow, he almost hit a reversal. It's that overhook saving Williams every time. Saved him from getting his back taken on the last 3 attempts, but Hervey is back up here. And what I might actually do, boys, what might I actually do? Do you know what I might actually do? If you're up for it. So I research fights based on, well, basically I research every single fight on my website, right? So I live stream my research for every single UFC fight on my website. So here you can see the last one we did was Dan Ige against Mirsad Bektik. Did a 2-hour-long live stream researching this fight, and we do it fight companion style, where I'll put a clock up on the computer and I will basically watch the fight on Fight Pass on this monitor that you can't quite see by here, or maybe you can see the reflection in there, and then I will kind of commentate what I'm seeing. And if you've got a UFC Fight Pass subscription, you can use the fight clock to watch along with me. I research every single UFC fight, live stream it on my website. What I might do on this one is, after we're done watching the footage on Kaylin Williams, I might actually just go back and watch Alex Morono's fight against Jordan Mean, which he lost. There was a lot of grappling in that fight, though. And I'll do it the same kind of style that I do on my website, just so that if you're watching, you know, on Twitch or Mixer, or if you're watching after the fact on YouTube, you can kind of get a definitive decision for me on whether I'm betting this fight or not. I never like to jump into a bet, see boys. I always like to either sleep on it or think about it or watch some fights a second or third time. I never like to jump in, which is why I get so pissed off when people criticize bets that I lose, because they think I just pick these bets out of thin air on a whim. If you guys are in my live streams with me every single day, I live stream on my website every day, you will know how serious I take this. I take this game very seriously. I take every bet seriously. I don't put out bullshit bets. There's always a lot of logic and a lot of strong decision making and discipline that's gone into each bet. So what I might do after this, we'll watch these 3 fights, then we'll go back and watch a little bit of Alex Morono's footage where he's been involved in grappling exchanges, fight companion style. You can watch along with me if you've got a Fight Pass subscription. Then we can all make a decision together whether we think Morono is a good bet or not. But he's certainly looking like a good bet here. He is certainly looking like a good bet, because one thing I've noticed about Hervey, even though he did get controlled for a period of time in that second round, he's just been able to stand up and easily hit reversals and escape position when he's actually tried. It doesn't actually look to me like Khaos Williams has got that heavy of a top game. I mean, remember, he's been reversed here. Hervey's basically just stood back up. Hervey also stood up at the beginning of the second, and also when Khaos Williams got that takedown very, very early in round 1 and landed into mount, Hervey literally just stood back up. And like I say, Morono is very, very crafty at hitting reversals, sweeps, things like that. So even though he is difficult to take down, I do think Williams will be able to take him down. The skill gap on the ground in terms of the technical difference on the ground is probably going to be enough for Morono to hit some reversals, put Williams in some pretty bad positions when they do go to the ground. Seb Gray is saying, I can see Williams panic wrestling, getting reversed and subbed. Yeah, I was going to say the same thing, man. I mean, it's pretty much happening here, right? We've got Hervey on his back. And let's be real, I haven't really done a lot of analysis on... I haven't done a lot of analysis here, boys. I haven't done as much analysis as I usually do in these live stream videos. Just I live stream so much these days. Like I say, I live stream every day on my website. I have the same group of boys watching me study every fight. I kind of assume that you just already know this stuff, but I've got to remember, for Mixer, Twitch and YouTube, it's a different audience. But if you look at this position here where Hervey goes to take the back, he shouldn't get this. He jumps on the back of Williams and is way too high up. Williams should have been able to shake him off or buck him up because high up on his torso he gets. Look at this. See, it's the mistake happens here. So if we just slow this down. So as Hervey jumps on his back, watch this. So Hervey jumps here, and watch it frame by frame. So he's got way too aggressive on this back take, and he's got way too high up. So what he's actually going to do is he's basically jumped over the top of Williams' back. He's not going to be able to take the back from this position, but Williams actually makes a huge mistake by going to his knees. If Khaos Williams would have just stayed stood up here, just stayed standing up, well, obviously with his back arched, you would have seen Hervey jump right over the top of him. But the mistake he actually makes, watch here, just as Hervey's about to fall off, Williams goes to his knees, and that then enables Hervey to make an adjustment and get the hooks in, and then ultimately the body triangle in. So that was the mistake that Williams made. Hervey should never have got that position. But the point I'm trying to make is, this guy might be like a big, strong, athletic dude that can take guys down and drag them to the ground. But the problem is, in these positions, like I said earlier on, everything he does is with grit and determination and athleticism, and there's nothing wrong with that because he's a young fighter. He is going to learn. But the problem is, like I say, when you get into the UFC and you're facing guys like Alex Morono, they will punish you for those mistakes, those little mistakes you make. And I don't mean in this exchange because he's being punished here. I mean about all the other ones where he's almost had his back taken and it's only the overhook that's protected him. That was kind of like the point I'm trying to make, and God knows how many positions he might have got reversed in. We're seeing how tough he is here because we've got Hervey forearm under the chin. Very, very bad position for Khaos Williams to find himself in, but he's toughing it out. going 2-on-1 to try and make it difficult for Hervey to complete this choke. You can see Williams is tough, man. He is tough. And just clinging on for a decision win, right? Won the first and second round. Obviously lost the third. You know what, man? You know what? Yeah, Williams was lucky there, man. 1-2. Hang on. Why are they getting the stool? Is this a 5-round fight? Does this guy know how many rounds there are? What the fuck? Anyway, so yeah, Williams obviously won the first and second. Lost the third. Interesting fight. We learned a lot about him, right? We learned a lot about him. And that's it, right, boys? Let's watch another fight, right? Because we never want to. We never want to make a decision based on one fight. And Robinson Canolis, what, man? Another one of my VIPs, man. Good to see you, dude. Thanks for watching here, man. I really appreciate it. And boys, don't forget, if you are watching this after the fact on YouTube, drop a like on the video. And if this video gets 150 likes tomorrow, I'll drop a breakdown video. We go through the John Jones Dominic Reyes fight, which I actually need to research because I haven't researched yet. Because I actually think out of all the fights on this card for betting, this is probably one of the most least interesting ones. So we'll be focusing instead on the fights that I think are interesting for betting. And again, man, look at this guy, Khaos Williams, entouraged up. Boys, let me know in the comments on YouTube what the fuck is up with this guy. Where does his entourage come from? Where's he getting his money from? And why is there just so much hype behind this dude? I don't get it. But anyway, we've seen this. We've seen his hype, guys. I mean, I think this is even Dequan Townsend in the background. This is very strange. I don't really understand what the fuck is going on. But I'm going to have a little drink of water while these guys have a grand old time watching their mate have a scrap against PJ Kajigas. I'm just going to call this guy PJ because I don't want to butcher his surname. But this is another fight that Kaylin Williams won. This is from December 2018. December 2018. Very, very good. So yeah, this is like what? A year and a little bit ago. Not too much, like a year and, what would that be? Like a year and 2-3 months, something like that. So yeah, man, very interesting. Wow, well, I wasn't that optimistic about being able to bet this card. I was prepared to pass on this card. But it actually turns out, boys, we might have a cheeky little bet here. We might have a cheeky little bet. Oh, Robinson, man. Mate, I love having you part of my community, mate. I appreciate it, dude. Thanks a lot, dude. I really appreciate it, man. I really do, mate. I'll just catch up on these comments. So Ghostface Killers is just saying that Khaos Williams has got a really good backstory where he's come out of prison and he's trying to turn his life around. He left the gang life behind. Cool, man. Might have to have a little bit of research on this guy. And then I have coronavirus has said, hello, can you say happy birthday to my 9-year-old brother? Me and him always watch the streams. His name is Nick Gers. See, that's naughty, man. That is naughty. You know what I mean? I was about to say I need to not swear as much as I do because there's a 9-year-old watching, but I've just been well and truly honey-dicked. Had a feeling something was going on because Gers is a strange surname. I've never seen the surname Gers before. But yeah, very, very, you almost got me, dude. You kind of did get me, partially. But yeah, very, very cool. Alarm bells were already ringing with your username. But you got me. You got me. Bugger. That might be my career over anyway, right? I just said a racial slur on live stream. There's no going back now. Anyway, boys, let's get into this first round. PJ versus Khaos Williams. And again, it seems that the last fight we watched wasn't an anomaly because we've got Khaos Williams already, just like the last fight, coming out with the same game plan, initiating a takedown against the cage, working for the clinch position. Doesn't look that strong here, though. My worry is Alex Morono's so easy to take down. It won't matter. but not looking too strong in this position. And I did notice that Williams looked like he had a bit of a size advantage over Hervey, who we watched in the last fight, whereas PJ looks like a much bigger guy. So it'll be interesting to see if Williams is able to drag him to the ground as easily as he was able to drag Hervey. Also, with Hervey wearing the Muay Thai shorts, maybe he just didn't have any grappling at all, right? And that's what made it easy for Williams to drag him down and hold him down. We've seen a little bit more striking here at the beginning of this first round, which is really what I would like to see from Williams, to see if he poses any threat to Morono standing. But I have noticed that he does leave his chin up high and exposed, right? We've seen him get caught cold quite a few times in the fights we've watched, where he kind of like backs up out of exchanges with his chin up high and exposed as well. He doesn't really move his head much. I mean, there we see him eat a nice solid combination from PJ. So Williams, striking defense definitely shaky, and a part of me was thinking, well, you know what, MMA fighters don't have the most technical boxing. Even if Williams was, Williams wasn't the best grappler, if his boxing's at a very high level, he could cause Morono some problems. But what's actually interesting here is Williams has got the pro boxing background, albeit only 2 pro fights. But Alex Morono's striking is significantly better. I mean, which you would maybe expect with a guy like Morono that's had 23 pro fights, but you never know, man. Sometimes you just see these guys coming in from different sports, specialists in that one particular sport, and they're an absolute nightmare, right? It would be like saying, let's not worry about Kron Gracie's Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu because he hasn't had many MMA fights. You know, you never know what Williams' amateur boxing background has been like, what pedigree he's got, but it certainly looks very easy to hit here. Striking defense, not that good at all. And I also notice that he doesn't really sit down on his shots. He's actually standing very flat-footed and rigid and quite upright when he's winging these big shots, which means he might not generate as much power as it looks like he does. He looks like a big, strong guy that's really committing hard to these shots, but it doesn't really sit down on him too hard, and wings quite wide shots as well for the most part. So Morono's got a decent jab. I actually think there's a good chance Morono knocks this guy out. I actually think there's a good chance Morono knocks this guy out. And there he eats a big right hand as well. And when Williams is on the attack, you see him coming forward in kind of like a straight line, right? Chin up high and exposed. And what we do also have to remember is, the scoring criteria in MMA was changed like early 2017, right? If Morono beats the brakes off this guy's standing, which I think he's going to do, and then Williams gets the takedown, he's kind of like controlling Morono from top position for a little bit, that might not be enough to win him the round, because under the new scoring, guard, this is supposed to be a 50-50 position. Guard is supposed to be a 50-50 position. So unless Williams does something huge in the next 35 seconds, under the new scoring, which every single commission in the world should be using, the ABC judging criteria, I mean, even there he's got caught with an armbar. The point I'm trying to make is Williams has lost this round, in my opinion, because he's been outstruck by a wide margin, hasn't been able to do anything with this, with top position. And my point being, if Morono beats the brakes off him standing, with Morono also having home advantage, even if Williams gets a takedown and chills in his guard for a little bit, it's probably not going to be enough to win him the round. Now, I guess we're kind of seeing here how Williams ends up losing this fight, because at the end of that round, his opponent, PJ Kajigas, is looking pretty damn tired. I mean, he was struggling to even get back up. So, in my opinion, Williams lost that round, and PJ probably gasses from here on out, right? Jason 826 saying heavy hands, poor footwork, heavy off front foot, really loads up on his shots, chin up for sure. Yeah, man, and no head movement as well. I agree, dude. MMA KM is saying almost seems as if Morono can win in multiple ways again. It is in Texas. Alex is from Houston. Only ever lost one clear decision out of 4 losses. Has 3 splits. Granted, the splits may not be close. Assuming the splits are correct, even if worst case scenario, this fight is ugly and close, somehow Morono probably still wins a split in his home. I actually think Morono can probably finish him. Yeah, I do think Morono can knock Williams out, man. I really do. I really do, because Morono's quite light on his feet as well, man. He's got a decent jab, and Williams is way more flat-footed. Williams is just very easy to hit, man. I mean, even there we see him, eating the jabs, getting his head snapped back, and just by the way the Williams throws, like, I know he's a big, strong, athletic guy that commits hard to his punches, but even there when he's looping in with that left hook, guys like Morono are just going to slip that, fire back with a nuclear missile of a counter and put him away. So this live stream today, man, it's been very, very valuable. Very, very cool. Because I think we might have found ourselves a bet, boys. I really do. I can 100% say, without any shadow of a doubt, Morono has a huge, huge advantage everywhere. Massive advantage on the ground, massive advantage standing up, without question, boys. The only doubt, the only risk factor, is that Williams does try and take his opponents down, and Morono at times just spends way too long on his back, throwing up long shot submissions. But then they're long shot submissions against UFC caliber fighters. Maybe they won't be long shot, submissions against guys of Khaos Williams' caliber, right? Maybe these long shot submissions actually become realistic submissions that he can hit. But in terms of, in terms of what I'm seeing here, Morono's light years ahead of Williams everywhere. There's no area where Williams can take this fight where he'll have a technical advantage. Literally nowhere. I don't even know how, the only risk factor I can think of is flash KO, right? Which is always going to be a risk factor, although it's less likely because Morono's tough as fuck. Nico Price is the only one to put him away, and we know he's got nuclear missiles in his hands. The only other risk factor is if Morono flakes hard, keeps letting Williams take him down and hold him down and loses an ugly decision. That is a possibility, but my God, Morono would have to be stupid to let that happen, because from a technical point of view, he's just levels and levels and levels above Williams everywhere. Look at how tired this guy is in this second round, throwing these lazy kicks. You guys, if you've watched the Alex Morono against Max Griffin fight, the head kick Morono landed on Griffin to completely change the course of the fight. I mean, when Morono's got that kind of speed and timing and reflexes, and he sees those openings, where we see Williams, throwing these lazy kicks, overcommitting to these big shots, Morono can put him away. He can put him away, boys. There's no doubt about it. So this is actually a super interesting fight, Morono, usually these kind of odds scare me off, right? These kind of odds scare me off, which is ironic because I've bet on RDA last week. I parlayed in with Cyborg. Obviously, Cyborg dominated, RDA didn't. So I lost money on that bet. I never feel too comfortable betting in this odds range, right? Also lost money on Khaos when he was around 1.44, but at the end of the day, all you could do is put your money in strong positions and hope for the best, right? RDA was a strong position. Khaos was a strong position. Neither of them came through for me. Morono is looking like a strong position. I will say that. Now, does it mean he's going to win? No, it fucking doesn't. Anything can happen. Maybe he gets lay and prayed for 3 rounds. Very unlikely, but I am liking Morono here, boys, for sure. For sure. He is looking very, very good. And do you know what else I would say? In round one, Williams is fast, he's strong, he's athletic. he can catch you with a bomb, right? He's a big dude, right? If he lands a big shot, chances are he can hurt Morono bad. The thing is, by the midway point of this second round, I mean, look at his hand speed now. We saw it in the last fight. His hand speed in his second round looks really sloppy, looks really slow. So the chances of him actually hurting Morono past the first round are extremely low. And you know what else I will say about Williams? Look, he's got, again, it's only the overhook that protects him from getting his back taken there. What I will also say about this fight is, maybe Williams will be too scared to take Morono down. Let's be real, like, Morono's no joke on the ground. Like, I can't remember who said it. I think it was MMA KM, reminding us all, you know, Morono is a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt on the ground. I'm sorry if it was someone else. I think it was MMA KM. If it was someone else, I'm really sorry. But let's not forget, man, Williams might not feel confident taking Morono down. Because if his ground game isn't at a high level, which it doesn't look like it is, Morono could tie him up in knots, put him in all kinds of trouble and submit him. I see what these comments are saying. Jason B is asking if Williams has a reach advantage. We don't know, man, because it doesn't say on Tapology, but it doesn't look like it'll matter because he doesn't do a very good job of fighting long, right? He just stands rigid and upright. Oh, I'm just going to ban Scar. Well, some people are such pricks, man. Let's get rid of him. Kamikaze is saying, do we got to give Morono 80%? No, man, I think about 75% is good, dude. What, you know, can you give Williams a 1 in 4 chance of beating Morono? I think that's fucking hard, dude. I think it's hard based on what I'm seeing. Like, Morono would have to implode on, like, a ridiculous level. He would have to implode like bad. Mastered by Jazz is saying Morono inside the distance. Major cards have an increase in finishes. Do we have those props yet, man? I know the props won't be coming out until later in the week. Where are they? Let's take a quick look. 3.80, man. That is a fucking bet for you boys. Morono wins inside the distance. Shout out to Mastered by Jazz for calling that one out. Morono inside the distance at 3.80. That is juicy. I'd even say that's better than hitting the money line, right? That is way better. Very, very nice. And oh, nice one, Richard Poor. Cheers, dude. Thanks for watching, mate. Thank you for watching. So this is the third round now, boys. And yeah, Williams just not looking too hot at all here, man. Not looking good. Quite flat-footed. And also remember, boys, this guy looks to slow down a little bit in the second round because his hand speed is way slower. Remember that this guy is taking the fight on like a week's notice. So his cardio is not going to look any better than it did here or against Hervey. Right? This guy's literally taking the fight on a week's notice. So this guy could just show up and look absolutely terrible. Kamikaze is saying a Jones-Moreno parlay pays -150. We like that. I'm just going to do a little bit of a calculation. What happens if you bet 5 units on Moreno at 1.38? How much you get back? Almost 2 units. If I bet 3,000 on Moreno at 1.38, how much will I get back? £1,000. You will get £1,000 back. Very, very nice. Might have to slide on out later and drop a little bit of money on Moreno. That's derailed my plans. I was going to be live streaming all night. I didn't expect to find a bet on this fight, boys, but I might have to slide out and bet a little bit of money on our boy Moreno. Let's see what's up. Got me thinking now. I didn't really want to bet 5 bags on Morono, I've got to be honest. But 3,000's about £1,000 profit. That could be very nice, you know. That could be nice. Seems like not much risk, right? Not much risk. And I mean, look how easy PJ is outstriking this guy in the 3rd round. Like, if this is Morono stood in front of Williams in the 3rd round, like, Williams gets knocked out for sure. Like, no doubt about it, Williams gets knocked out. He just doesn't have the footwork, the striking defense, the movement to defend himself in these exchanges. And a more dangerous striker like Morono, a guy that won't get tired. Remember how tired PJ was looking at the end of the 1st round. Yeah, man. Like, Williams could be in some trouble on this event. Some big boy trouble. Should definitely be in some trouble, man. Sneaky, yeah, man. I did I kind of researched the Juan Adams fight. I watched all of Adams's recent fights. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna live stream like watching Taffer's fights as well. We'll do it in this format. So I've watched all Adams' fights. I'm gonna do Taffer, but even though I know Taffer is not good, boys, like, I make the same point with Juan Adams that I made about Derek Lewis. Even though it is an easy fight for Adams, right? I just don't love betting guys in this odds range when they're this big of a favourite. It's just like, if they're heavyweight, like, I don't mind doing it in the lighter weight classes where like big flash KOs are less likely. But when it comes to like bigger dudes, because the thing is, Juan Adams is a former NCAA Division 1 level wrestler. He is a decent grappler. If Adams takes this guy to the ground, right, it's an easy night's work for him. But I just don't trust Adams, man. He's the exact kind of guy to try and win a stand-up fight and get knocked out. I just don't trust him. But it is an easy fight for him if he fights smart. Oh, nice one, MMA KM. Thanks a lot, dude. Thanks, mate. And nice one, Sci-Fix as well, dude. Nice one, boys. Alright, so I think what we're going to do, right? Look, you guys have probably seen enough. You can sign off now. You don't have to watch any further. But I do like to cross the T's and dot the I's. So what I'm going to do, I'm personally just going to watch one more fight. This was from about 2 years ago. I want to see this fight against Dan Williams just because we can watch it. But like I say, boys, I'm probably going to... I am probably going to bet on Alex Morono here, which I didn't expect. When I came onto this live stream, I did not expect to be betting Alex Morono as a big favourite, but it's kind of hard not to bet him, to be honest. I've seen enough, I will say that. I have definitely seen enough. And like I say, every single bet carries risk factors, right? Every single bet. I always talk about losses because losses are painful. Like, they're fresh in our mind, right? They're easy to refer back to. But we also won a bet on Brett Johns last week, right? Let's not forget about Brett Johns. Brett Johns came through for us in a big way. And the reason why we bet Brett Johns was because he's better than Tony Gravely everywhere. He's a better grappler and a better striker. But we knew there were risk factors with Brett Johns. He was coming back off a 2-year layoff. Tony Gravely's very explosive, very athletic. Tony Gravely, former NCAA Division 1 level wrestler. So even though Brett Johns is the better MMA grappler, Gravely could still have caused him some problems. We knew there were risk factors with Johns, but ultimately, Johns had enough going for him where he was able to squeak out the win. But the point I always make, good bets don't always win, bad bets don't always lose, and there are risk factors with every single bet. There are risk factors with Alex Morono here, absolutely. Morono is very easy to take down. He's quite easy to hold down. I could see a scenario where Morono completely flakes out, keeps giving up easy takedowns, and Williams holds him down for 3 rounds. Like, it could happen. But Morono has so much more going for him that you'd be a fool not to bet Morono and get a 38% return on your money for what is a great stylistic matchup for him. And the way I always recommend betting on MMA is just, like, in your head, visualize like 2 columns, all the reasons for betting a fighter, all the reasons for not betting on a fighter. And depending on what the odds are, depending on what the risk to reward ratio is, you want more stuff in the reasons to bet than more reasons not to bet. So, for example, if you're betting on John Jones this weekend, the odds of 1.22, well, you're not getting a very good risk to reward ratio. So your column for reasons to bet Jones needs to be so full, there needs to be so much in there, and then the column for reasons not to bet Jones needs to be practically empty, because that risk to reward ratio means you can't have a lot of risk there. You know what I mean? Because the payoff in the odds doesn't make it worth it. With a guy like Morono with an implied probability of 72%, you want tons of reasons to bet him, and maybe like 30% of that number of reasons not to bet him. It's kind of how I work out whether the risk to reward ratio on a bet is worth it or not. And realistically, I can only think of one risk. I could think of two risk factors on this bet. The first is a flash KO in round 1, where Williams is really powerful and strong and athletic, and he might come out swinging hard and land a bomb. That's almost always a risk factor in MMA, so you've got to include that. The second risk factor is, like I say, Morono just completely underperforming, fighting dumb, giving up weak takedowns, and allowing Williams to hold him down. Right? That is the second way that it could go. Obviously, you've got all the other risk factors. Morono might fight injured. He might get disqualified. You know what I mean? He might have a bad weight cut, all that shit. But generally speaking, when you look at how both these guys match up, those two things, the flash KO and the lay and pray loss, are the only two legitimate risk factors I can think of. So where you're getting a 38% return on your money on Morono, you know, odds of 1.38, that's a good return, man, because there are so many more reasons to bet Morono. Like, the guy has cardio for days. We know Williams slows down and becomes less effective in round 2, right? Williams is taking the fight on a week's notice. His striking is sloppy. He's very easy to hit. He doesn't move his head. He doesn't have any footwork. His ground game looks quite low. You know, even here he's giving his back up. He's just exposing his back. His wrestling's okay, it's nothing special. Morono, high-level Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt, hits hard, great reflexes, fast, good chin, tough, cardio for days. Like, your column to bet Morono is very full. So yes, maybe Morono comes out here and gets lay and prayed for 3 rounds, and everyone that bet Williams thinks they're a genius, right? That might happen, and guys like Scar can carry on making money by fading me, even though it's very, very dumb, because I made a decent profit last year, and I'll make a decent profit in 2020 as well. But the point I'm trying to make is, there are risk factors with every bet. Don't let small risk factors scare you off from putting your money in strong positions, because in a year, you'll win loads of bets, you will lose loads of bets. But at the end of the day, the only thing that matters is that you end up over a 12-month period making more than you lost. That is it. That is it, right? Profit's the name of the game. In 2019, we made a solid profit. In 2020, we'll make a solid profit. And Alex Morono looks like a very, very good bet to me, based on what we're seeing here from these last 3 fights we've seen. Now, it's a bit of a shame that we can't watch Kaylin Williams' last fight against Jeremy Holloway. Can't find it online. If you do know where I can find this fight, please share it with me in the comments on YouTube. However, you know, if we look at the time difference between the Jeremy Holloway fight, these 2 fights against Hervey and Jackson, there's not a massive difference in time. Oh, sorry, not the Jackson fight, the Hervey and PJ fight. There's not a massive difference in time, right? There's between this fight and this fight, there's like 8 months, something like that. No, even less than that. Yeah, there's like 8 months difference between these 2 fights. There's like a little over a year between these 2 fights, so it's unlikely he's improved a tremendous amount in that time, to the point where now he's going to be unrecognizable this weekend. So even treating, you know, improvements that Williams might make, you know, in a short space of time, isn't that realistic. And even there, as we see him coming in, getting aggressive, you know, throwing these big wide looping hooks, he doesn't look crazy dangerous. You know, when he is getting aggressive and letting his hands go and throwing these bombs, you know, maybe he catches Morono with something goofy and knocks him out. But a lot of these shots are coming from the hip, right? Very, very. I mean, even here, Yeah. I don't think we need to see any more, boys. That is going to be it from me. I am going to be betting Alex Morono this weekend. There you go, boys. I always get criticised for how many fights I pass on, and I always, pass on these on bets, on these live stream bets. Well, there you go, boys. Not this fucking time. We have found a bet on Alex Morono. Very, very happy. Odds are around 1.38. They are declining. I'm not surprised, but I'm going to jump all over this now. I'm going to bet some money on him tonight. So there you go, boys. There you go. Go bet Alex Morono before his odds get any worse. I know his odds are shit, but he looks like a good value to me. Looks like very good value. And let's see. Let's see if we've got any comments on Twitch or Mixer. If you're watching on Twitch or Mixer, boys, before we sign off, if you've got any comments, drop them in the chat, and then that is it, boys. I'll be off to go bet some money on Morono before the odds get any worse. See if we got any comments. Oh, nice one, MMA KM. Thanks a lot, dude. Nice one, mate. I love you, bro. I love you, MMA KM, dude. Thanks a lot, mate. Richard Poor is asked just a straight win bet. So, do you know what, man? Do you know what, right? So, usually what I would do in circumstances like this. So, for example, last week, I parlayed RDA with Cyborg because they were like two big favourites who I felt were significantly better than their opponent everywhere. The only real risk factors that I had in the RDA fight were obviously Chiesa's size is fucking huge. Like, he was much bigger than RDA, and I felt that there was a big risk that Chiesa might be able to just take RDA down and hold him down with his size. But then when you go and watch Chiesa's past fights against like Jim Miller, against Anthony Pettis, against Carlos Condit, against Diego Sanchez, Chiesa's not like this kind of guy who has a very heavy top game. Like, usually he gets guys down and then he starts hunting for submissions, and he always gives up position hunting for submissions. I counted that he did it 7 times against Diego Sanchez, 3 times against Carlos Condit, countless times against Anthony Pettis, right? So I was like, even if he does get RDA down, he'll probably start hunting long shot submissions, and RDA will be able to either pop back up to his feet or hit a reversal. That's why I thought RDA was a good bet. As it happens, he wasn't. Chiesa fought really smart, and he actually favoured position over submission for once, and he was able to use his size, just hold RDA down instead of like what he usually does, hunts for submissions and gives his opponent enough space to work their way back to their feet. So what I would usually do with these kind of bets is I would try and find like someone else to go into a parlay with Morono. So like last week, I liked RDA, and then I was like, you know what, Cyborg's basically better than Bud everywhere. Bud has got pretty much no chance of winning. So we researched the fight together, and Bud was just, there was nothing Bud could do to be competitive with Cyborg. Like, really the only risk factor with Cyborg is that she's reckless, but Bud doesn't have any boxing or power in her hands to make her pay anyway. So I was all over Cyborg, chucked her into a parlay with RDA, boom. Now I'm looking at this with Morono, and I'm thinking to myself, I haven't researched Dominic Reyes against Chookagian. Dominic Reyes against Chookagian. Do you know what? That would probably be more interesting than these two fucking fights this weekend. I haven't researched the co-main event or the main event, but I can't see myself betting on John Jones at 1.22 based on how passive he looked against Thiago Santos. I really wouldn't bet on Shevchenko at 1.09, given how passive she has looked in the past. I think with fighters like Shevchenko and Jones, the weight of carrying the belt might be getting too much to them, and I think it's only a matter of time before they lose. No matter how good they are, I think it's only a matter of time before the pressure gets them and they lose, similar to what we've seen with Andrade, Namajunas and Cyborg, all looking relieved when they lost. You know, Holloway not showing up against Volkanovski, and it's something that GSP talked about a lot throughout his career, right? Where it's very hard to keep carrying the weight of the belt. So I think it's only a matter of time for Jones if Shevchenko loses, because I believe Shevchenko's passive performance against Liz Carmouche, John Jones's passive performance against Thiago Santos, it's kind of like a sign. It's kind of written on the wall that even though Shevchenko and Jones are incredible fighters, it's only a matter of time before mentally they just lose the belt because they don't want to be champion anymore. I haven't completed my research for Adams versus Taffer yet, but I can't see me betting Adams at these odds, and there's no way I'd bet Taffer because of how bad he is on the ground. I don't see myself betting Derek Lewis at these odds again because it's a fucking heavyweight fight and very, very difficult to cap heavyweight fighters at like 75, 80%, which you'd need to in order to get value on Lewis because Latifi hits hard, man, and he's decent, right? Haven't researched the Andrea Lee-Lauren Murphy fight, so I don't know yet. I can't comment on that. But I don't like to bet female fighters as heavy favourites because female fighters do tend to be a little bit more inconsistent than male fighters for whatever reason. I don't know what that is. So I guess this is a really long way of me saying that usually where you've got a big favourite like Morono, I would look to parlay him with someone, put him into an accumulator with someone. But obviously, the more people that watch footage on Kaylin Williams, the more money is going to come in on Morono, right? Because it's Tuesday afternoon. We are, say, 4 days away from UFC 247. The closer we get to the time of the fight, the more and more people are going to watch footage on Williams and Morono. The more money's going to come in on Morono, the worse his odds are going to get. So you're caught in a catch-22 where do you want to wait until you've researched all of these fights before betting him, just in case there is a potential parlay partner? And of course, if you wait, the odds are going to continue to get worse on Morono. Like, obviously, once I drop this YouTube video, 2,000-3,000 people are going to watch it. I'm sure Morono's odds are going to get steamed as soon as this video goes out on YouTube. Or do you just want to lock in a bet on Morono now, take the 38% return on your money if he wins, which I'm not saying he will because, like I say, anything can happen in MMA. It's up to you really, but I don't personally see anyone that I would parlay with him. I don't know anything about Austin Lingo. I haven't researched this fight yet. I'm going to get to it soon though, maybe even tonight. So yeah, man, it's a straight bet just because I don't see anyone else as a potential parlay partner. But I could be wrong. I could change my mind after researching the fights, but I think I just prefer to lock money in on Morono. MMA KM is saying I'm smashing Morono because I wanted to even before this live stream. Oh, nice one MMA KM nice one MMA KM for doing your homework on this fight, man. Morono does look good here for sure, man. Alright, where are we? Right, boys, if you've got any more comments, that will be it. I think we're getting to the bottom now. Cyfix, I think I'm going to go, I'm not too sure how many units yet, mate. I think I'm going to go and watch a little bit more footage on Morono, and then I'll decide on units. It's going to be quite a lot though, man. It's going to be at least 3, might be as many as 5. I don't know. I know I'm going to bet Morono with how big his skill advantages are. I'm just not sure how big yet. Jason B is asking, is Morono prone to counters? His striking defense isn't great, mate. It's not great, I'm not going to lie. But he can take it, and I mean, Williams isn't great, right? Alright, that is going to be it for this live stream, boys. Thank you to everyone. And yeah, let me know if you're going to bet this fight, boys. Let me know what you think of the footage we've watched. Let me know how much money you're going to bet on Morono, if you're going to go for it, or if you think we're foolish, and how much money you're going to bet on Williams. Let me know, boys. And also, don't forget to hit the like button on YouTube. This video gets 150 likes. Tomorrow I will drop a breakdown video for the fight between Dominic Reyes and Jon Jones, including many other fights on this card. Some of the more competitive ones, like Andre Ewell against Jonathan Martinez and Dan Ige against Mirsad Bektik. So shout out to everyone that watched. Love you all. Really appreciate it, boys. Take care, and I will see you all very soon.